Hello everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. In this video, we're going to do a meditation using our new elements tensoring set. Now, first, I'm just going to show you the elements tensor ring set, which encompasses 5 tensor rings. Right, so that's the set that you get there, made of 5 tensor rings, and they are generally made with 10 gauge copper wire. And anything that we make with tensor products, right, is wire that's been back on itself, put through the drill to twist it, and then cut to a specific cubit measurement. Now, the cubit measurements that make up the elements tensor ring set are all measurements that were intuitively guided to me here at Truly Holistic, based on a map we call the Ascension Map, which again was something intuitively brought forth to me to come up with this, which is a map of your infinite consciousness. This is your consciousness. You actually get this with the elements tensor ring set when that's purchased. And obviously we've got it color coded as well in the elements. The green here is the earth, the white is the air, the blue is the water, the orange is the fire, and the purple is the ether. Now, where we're having an experience is we're having an experience in this reality here. You can see that it's depicted as a tree, and that, you know, where we are is essentially the outer aspect of that tree, right? The foliage, which is generally in the flower that comes from that foliage, which is generally an expression of the tree. And really, our purpose in being here is to be a representation of our consciousness. And of course, this tree is depicted as your consciousness. So this is where we are here. And then the air element is what is the makeup of your energy signature, right? Which is another way we call your soul. And your soul is spliced amongst a multitude of realities, you know, where a variant or version of you is having experience of a reality. And why it does that is because the way that your consciousness expands is to have as much experience as you can, so you convert that experience into wisdom. And when we convert it into wisdom, then we expand our consciousness, right? This is really what Ascension's really about, truly about. It's not about going up into space above our head. It's about facilitating everything we are here to be a representation of everything we are. And the word everything is associated with the word quantum. Okay, so we've got air, we've got water, which is the roots of the tree. This is the source of your energy before it then gets spliced amongst those realities. And then obviously we come into fire and ether. That is the soil that feeds the tree, feeds the roots of the tree. So we're going to go through this, and I'm going to use each ring for each element as we go through it. And obviously we're going to start from where we are, right? Because that's the first step, is to get to the door. And we'll talk about that in a minute, to facilitate this pathway that exists not outside of you or above your head, but within you at a quantum level. So we're going to do that. Now, part of that elements tensoring set, you get this, you get the 5 rings. You also get a chart to find out, you know, whatever you're working on, whatever you need, you can find out which element you require, right? So you've got the earth, you've got the air, you've got the water, you've got the fire and the ether. You also get this chart too, because when we facilitate more of ourself that exists on the quantum level and bring it here, so we become a representation of that, it's not only supporting our ability to ascend, but it's also the same pathway that enables wellness and vitality, to maintain it or to return back to wellness and vitality. And the way that happens is when we bring and facilitate that expansiveness of ourselves, right? We're everything at the quantum level, which is, you know, infinite consciousness. Consciousness means energy, and infinite means no boundary or limitation to it. So when we bring that here, generally our auric field expands, and it continuously expands and expands, which means it increases or amplifies us to have a positive influence on this plane, this reality. So our auric field expands out. So this chart gives you an idea of what's going on, right? And of course, you can see here that it says we gain that levity, because you got to remember all of this exists within you. And what we're doing to bring it into this reality, it has to come through the heart, right? So it's levitating up to the surface, very much like we'd look at a spring water, right? Water that is an aquifer deep within the earth, and it needs to levitate up to the surface to become a spring, right? So when it does that, your field is going to expand out. So we talk a lot about, the conflict at the human level is that as we go about our life, we're experiencing two forms of discernment, which is mind and thought, and heart and what we intuitively, instinctively feel. And a lot of the times they don't align with each other. And the conflict is we're trying to figure out, what do I go by the thoughts I'm getting or what I generally feel? And we're conflicted which one to kind of action upon, because we were told that they both work for the same team. But it's truly holistic, through working with thousands of clients all around the world. It's clear as anything, we've found that they don't work for the same team. The two different forms of discernment, and hence the two different forms of intelligence. One that is you, right, which we would say is coming from the quantum, right? This is why we're going to do this meditation, to facilitate more of you. And of course, the other, facilitating another intelligence to manipulate how you apply your energy that supports it. And of course, at the detriment to you, which means no ascension, which means you keep recycling, reincarnating here because you're not fulfilling your original purpose in being here as a soul. But also, secondly, promoting an environment or state to the body that creates degeneration, illness, disease. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first one we're going to go through here, and I'm going to put each ring, right? So we're going to start off with the earth element. And that is using the activation cubit measurement. And so I'm going to place it up to the camera so you get a feel for it. You can get attuned to it. I always say to my clients, right, when you're looking on my product store and you're looking at products, hey, which one works for me? Which one is the right thing for me? I always go to them, go by how it feels. How does it make you feel? Use the discernment of feel, because that is your innate pathway of more of you. That's you as the soul. It's a discernment of the soul. Often we get conflicted and confused about what we need and what we don't need when we're using thought. And this is generally the problem as humanity as a collective, because we're all being conditioned to use mind and the thought as our primary form of discernment, which is causing so many issues on so many levels. That's what we find here at Truly Holistic. Not enough people coming to that conclusion and talking about that, but Truly Holistic is definitely, I'm very proud to say that we, work on the cause to the effect. That's always been my driving, my driving kind of goal is to understand the causes to a lot of things that we experience, right? The problems that humans experience in so many ways that also, of course, impact our health. So let's get into it. So the first ring I'm going to show you here is the earth ring. All right, so I'm just going to place it there, and I want you to feel into this energy. Okay, so this is called the element ring. The earth element ring, which is the activation cubit. And what this does is this brings you to the door, right? And what I reference as the door is your heart. Okay, this is how you originally got here. Okay, and what I mean here by you, how you got here, as the soul, because that's what you infinitely and authentically are. Okay, and when your rental, the body was being formed as the embryo, it wasn't until the heart was formed that you as the soul came through the heart as a portal, the doorway, as I say, to use that rental for a lifetime. to have an experience, to create an experience that you can convert and use the discernment of the heart and feel to get to the heart of the matter, right? Which is at the heart of every experience. There is a lesson. And when we see that lesson, when we decipher that lesson, we convert that experience into wisdom. That's what we're here to do. When we're in the mind, which is when we close this door shut of the heart, when we're in the mind and thought, we don't have the equipment or the discernment to see the lesson and not decipher the lesson. So hence we accumulate experience and we don't convert it into wisdom. So this is very important to getting to the door to begin with, the earth element. Now, when we use this energetic, people feel the most grounded they've ever felt because this is super grounding, right? Yes, we can take off our shoes, go barefoot on the earth, but we can take grounding to another level, and that is to go within. Open the heart, open that door, and facilitate what is on the other side of the door, which is where you come from, which we call the quantum. So this earth element is all about grounding. Okay. So many people trying to ascend, so many people trying to get their wellness and vitality back, but they just don't know how to ground. The big reason why that is because they're heavily mind orientated. And if we're in the mind and we're allowing mind and thoughts to control the situation, our heart, the doorway remains closed. We can't go to the next step or evolution and facilitation of what we authentically are. So very important. Right. I'm going to move to the next one. Now, the next one, which is the smallest ring, is the air element. Right? This is the air element, which is the gateway qubit. Okay. Because once we open that door, which we've just done with the earth element, we are now facilitating a path that exists within us, which is the trunk of the tree, where our unique energy signature, and yes, you're unique, you're all unique. You have just like as the human, we have a unique fingerprint, right? Because we're here to imprint our uniqueness, not to follow and do what everybody else does, right? You're all special, you're all unique. And that unique energy signature soul gets spliced amongst numerous realities, universes, to amplify your ability to convert experience into wisdom. So these are your variants, right? Because as I said, the body's a rental. It's an interface to allow what you authentically are as a consciousness to go through it, to create reality, to have experience, to convert that experience into wisdom. So the air element is very much where earth is about grounding. The air element is all about self-awareness. Okay. When we look at practice meditation, right, there are two conceptual principles of meditation. One is closing your eyes. Why? Because you remove your attention from all distraction. And there's a saying, where attention goes, energy flows, which implies that where we place our focus and attention, we invest our energy into it to create more of that thing, but we also embody and take on its energy as well. Very key word, that embodiment, right? Because it becomes our physiology. Okay. So, one, close your eyes. The other conceptual principle of meditation is to focus on your breath. And what's your breath? Your airway, right? So those two conceptual principles, what they have in common is they're bringing your self-awareness back. Okay, your awareness back on you, because it's about you. It's about how you apply your energy. It's not about things outside of you. They will sort themselves out as long as you're self-aware of how you apply your energy. It's always been that way. Okay, most people don't understand that, or they don't come to a realization of that, because the mind externalizes your viewpoint of reality, which means you're more interested in what's going on around you, and you lose sight of how you apply your own energy, right? So when we connect into this energy, right, we are connecting into what people would consider your higher self, right? Where there are variant versions of you that are converting experience into wisdom. And when you're connected to this, it's like a library that you can all share your wisdom, right? Between your variants, which are you. Hence the word higher self, you, right? So they can help you guide your way, show your way, hence airway. Isn't that interesting? Right, there we go. Next one, the water element, right? The water element. Now, this is the Ascension qubit, right? As I say, this is what I guess people would reference as source, but a lot of time it's referenced as a source of energy for everyone. But as I say, you are a unique energy signature in your own right. Each one of us is one of those trees that I showed you depicted in regards to the Ascension Map. That is not a makeup of all of us, but of each one of us, right? We are unique. This is why generally there's not one thing that works for everybody, right? So here we go. So the water element is all about flow. It's all about flow, which is so important, right? Because when we see water in nature, water is the physical embodiment of flow. It wants to flow, it wants to move, it wants to shift. It doesn't want to stay in stasis. It doesn't want to stay stuck, okay? And what we see it truly holistic, that illness is either caused by either a congestion, obstruction, or blockage of flow. Flow is so important. And the formal geometry of flow is a vortex, right? And if we look down the barrel of a vortex, which is, the vortex is to keep things clean and clear, with its centrifugal forces, bringing what's needed into the center and discarding what we don't need to the outside. When we look down the barrel of a vortex, what do we see? The geometry of a spiral, which is connected to how nature's formed, how the embryo was formed, right? When we look at an embryo, we see it as this kind of prawn-looking shape because it's based on a vortex. Everything is. Golden ratio, Fibonacci sequence, spiral galaxies, all based on a vortex. Flow is so important, right? Because the thing is, if we don't have a state of flow for the body, how will it ever change? Because if we don't have a state of flow of the body, we have a state that promotes congestion, which means it accumulates material, which then builds up over time. And that's the definition of toxicity. And toxicity is illness. Why? Because of lack of flow. When we have the necessary flow, when we can make the changes to purge what we don't need and support the body's ability to get it up. We're never supposed to hold on to anything or accumulate everything. And this is directly connected into an expression simply known as being in the flow. And I love that expression because being is our natural state. After all, we're called human beings. But the cosmic joke is we're called human beings, but because we adopt a mind thought pathway as our primary discernment, we choose a discernment that doesn't allow us to provide and create a natural state. Right? Only the heart can do that, which is this pathway we are talking about right now. Right? Water. Okay. Next one. The fire element. Right? Fire element, which is the first layer of soil that feeds you as the tree. Your infinite consciousness depicted as that tree, which is part of that Ascension Map. And fire, which facilitates the fire infinity qubit, is all about renewal, right? It's all about renewal, right? Connected to, the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? Where the flames tear down anything that is causing congestion, obstruction, or blockage, the attachments that we form, especially when we're experiencing reality from the mind and its thoughts. We become dependent on things. We get addicted to things. We create unnecessary attachments that means that we lose our flow, right? And fire comes in to burn all those, right? So we don't continually repeat and remanifest more of the same, which is happening through what we call mentality, which is a byproduct of the mind and its thoughts guiding our discernment of what we see and how we should go about it and react and respond to it, where we continually use our past experience to influence how we see what is in the now and how we should go about it. What often people say is, what is? But the past will skewer it and make it and change how we perceive it and how we should go about it, which means that those choices in the now, which is forging our future, will just repeat more of the past, which means we get stuck. Fire element's very important in regards to this. Now, a perfect example of the fire element is a fever, right? And the human, when they're up in the mind and the thoughts, they think fever's a problem. No, it's not. What the problem was you experiencing and trying to understand your reality using the mind and its thoughts, which is not you. It's not authentically, infinitely what you are as a soul. And you're all of a sudden now creating a state for your body that is pro-accumulation, congestion, not flow, right? So it gets to such a state that your soul that exists on a quantum level finds a way, right, to bring this fire element into play to quickly shift your body out of congestion back to where it should be in a flowing state. That is what a fever is. It's a reset. It's a renewal. So this is a very important element. You might be feeling that, feeling a bit hot. A lot of the people, when they first start working with this element, with this energetic, that's what they start to feel, is they feel a little bit warmer, a bit hot. So that is the fire element. Now, the last one, which is the ether, right? Now, the ether is made with the eternity qubit, right? So some interesting words used in here, right? So, fire, infinity, infinite, eternity. We're really delving into a very expansive existence, which we quite often call celestial existence here at Truly Bliss. And celestial means expansive, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to open our heart and expand ourselves up, open ourselves up to allow ourselves of what we infinitely and authentically are as consciousness to grow, to evolve, to expand. That's what we are here. We are not infinitely and authentically the human. We are a soul. We are consciousness. Okay. So the ether means new beginnings, right? So new beginnings of exploration, of understanding, of perceiving, right? It's a realization of how important every moment is, because every moment's a 0 point, meaning all there is now. Past's not important. Future's not important. All there is now, which is realizing that you can start anew, have new beginnings in each and every moment if you choose, because that is the choice that matters. I always say to my clients that all the heart cares about is the now. It couldn't care about 2 minutes in the past, 2 minutes in the future. And why it's like that, not because it doesn't care about you. It's trying to get you to realize that all that matters is the choices you make now. Okay? Because otherwise you're allowing the past to influence the choices you make now to remanifest more of the past. And a majority of my clients come to me because what do they want? They want change. They want change. And change isn't going to happen if you allow the mind and its thoughts to guide your creative process that is bound and connected to your choices in each and every moment. Okay, so eternity, ether, is the most expansive energetic we know of, but there is a step-by-step approach, which, of course, you've seen in regards to this video. So I hope you've really enjoyed this meditative video based on the elements tensor ring set. Got a feel for the energetics and how they all connect with one another. Because the thing about all the products that we make at Truly Holistic, which are tensor technology and light technology, are using these energetics, these qubits. And we've realized that what we perceive on the human level as genetics and DNA and gene expression is based on these energetics. Also the energetics that come through the other pathway, mind and thought, which then manipulate the energetics that don't support you. The energetics that we're showcasing today, that comes through the heart, which comes from this here, they support you. They are opening new doors for you to facilitate while you have an experience here to become aware of your infinite and authentic potential and capabilities. And that's what we're seeing all the time, people using these products. And again, these qubit measurements you will not find anywhere other than Truly Holistic, even though we are aligning the earth, air, water, fire, ether elements to these energetics. And of course, there's a lot of people that talk about the elementals and elements. Got to realize these energetics are at such an expansion that I've not come across anyone else that works at this level. So go and check them out. As I say, the elements tensor ring set. You get all those laminated charts and you get the 5 rings. That's on my product store at trulyholistic.net/products/. But make sure to go and check out a whole number of products that we work on, all sorts of things, whether it's restructuring water, restructuring food, restructuring supplements, mitigating EMF, 5G, dirty electricity that bleeds through the walls in your home, smart meter, personal pendant or bracelet, right, to get your heart open, get it expansive, feel grounded, to open your third eye, your pineal gland, to improve sleep. You name it, we've got something for you. So make sure to check my product store out. Please push the like button if you've really enjoyed this video, and also if you're not subscribed, I hope you push that subscribe button and also the notification bell to be notified when the next video drops. Till next time, catch you later.